Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Life in the Wildlands podcast, where we discuss exciting opportunities with outdoor careers, share professional experiences, and provide advice to overcome the hurdles to federal employment. I am your host, Becky Shefelt, and today we have Ray Barerra, who works for the Student Conservation Association, and she's going to share how she started her career with the SCA, details about the program, and why it is a great career stepping stone in conservation. Also, we'll provide advice on how to obtain a position with the SCA. So thank you for joining us, Ray. Go ahead and tell us more about yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much, Becky, for having me. Hello, Life in the Wildlands listeners. My name is Ray Barerra. I am the DC area program manager with the Student Conservation Association. A little bit more about me. I am an Asian American Pacific Islander. I am based outside of Arlington, or outside of DC in Arlington, Virginia. And I have been with the SCA since 2019.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Ray. So what is the Student Conservation Program? Can you tell us more details about that?
Yes, thank you. So the Student Conservation Association, we're a national nonprofit, and we were founded in 1957 from our wonderful founder, Liz Putnam. And she based the program, the Student Conservation Program, the Crews and Corps, off of the Civilian Conservation Corps. And so the SCA is really geared towards getting youth and young adults into those entry-level positions that gain them those experiences outdoors, really like a variety of different things. Invasive plant removal, trail maintenance, we do environmental education, we help support resource managers with research, really a very broad array of different types of projects in conservation. But the main goal is to get those youth and young adults into those positions to get exposure to these fields and hopefully gain employment in the long run.
Yeah, it sounds like a great program that I've worked with in the past. But how did you initially get into the Student Conservation Association?
Oh, yes. I started off in 2019 with the SCA while I was in grad school, actually. I was attending grad school at George Washington University in DC, studying environmental policy, and I went on our university handshake. And I was looking for a job that was in the environmental field, but also worked with my school schedule. And I was so fortunate to have found the SCA. I started off actually as a field leader. So I was out there leading high school crews, young adult crews in different national parks around the DC metro area. We did a variety of different types of trail projects, building new trails out in Montgomery County. That's actually in the Maryland side of the DC metro area. We built fences at Wolf Trap, which is on the Virginia side of the DC metro area. We also did really cool things like cleaning the fish ladder at Rock Creek Park too. It was a wonderful experience. I led various crews before I actually became staff side in 2021. That's kind of how I got started and kind of worked my way up through the organization that way.
So coming from somebody that was getting their foot in the door, per se, as a student, working in this kind of career field, I bet just like myself, you probably have some experiences that really got you interested and wanting to do more with the association.
Absolutely. Well, my background actually is in biology research. In my undergrad, I was really fortunate to receive different fellowships where I worked with primary investigators doing field research on ecology of macroinvertebrates or water quality or climate change resilience in plants. And I just really loved working outdoors and working in the sciences. But I also really love doing mentorship as well. I loved doing research in the lab, but something that I enjoyed probably more than that was being able to talk about the science with members of the community that I had no idea about, things called rotifers, for example. And that's kind of where I find my favorite part about working with the SCA is being able to mentor people that are really interested in getting into the field and finding ways that they can use their past experiences to maybe thrive in a field that they had no idea about previously.
SCA provide a variety of experiences during this program?
Yes, there are so many different types of programs within the SCA. We're actually in all 50 states, and we have different types of programs. We have programs that are for high schoolers that are currently in high school and just really kind of navigating that first time job. And then we have folks that are recent high school grads or young adults that are looking to do a gap year before they go into college, and they can do different types of termed positions really all across the country. I help manage the DC, Maryland, and Virginia community programs, which are really focused in the metro areas of the country. And so we have 11, I believe, 11 community programs in the different hubs across the United States. So we have one in New York, New Jersey, and the Bay Area, Chicago, and Atlanta, Northwest Indiana, us, and Houston. But we also have programs that are out there for people that are interested in working in those big national parks, or internships where they're doing like really specific projects with our different types of partners, like ones that work for US Fish and Wildlife or the National Park Service or the US Forestry Service. Um, and there are also programs that are really specific towards trade jobs too, where we have wildfire fighter programs. We have ones that are more focused towards urban forestry now, and ones that are even towards recovery efforts and working with FEMA during those emergency times. So there's really a diverse array of types of programs here in the
Wow,
SCA.
I
Yeah.
didn't know. I had no idea about emergency management either. That's
Yeah.
great. So let's say somebody is in college, they're in a natural resources based studying a degree, I guess, in
Mhm.
natural resources. What types of like careers would this be a great stepping stone for?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think that if somebody is pursuing like a biology degree or environmental science or something relevant to that, and they're looking to work in the field, I think that's the coolest part about SCA is we're meant for that target audience of entry level folks that may not even have any kind of experience working with a trail tool, because our goal is a workforce development program where we can get those folks that are really committed to learning how to use a pickaxe or how to use a McClout, and how to identify trees and train them up so that they feel comfortable and confident in those skills. SCA, our goal is really to get persons that are in college or just recently graduated college and really kind of contemplating what to do with their degree, an opportunity to explore a lot of different types of options. Maybe they want to work with trees more, or maybe they're really interested in the visitor aspect of working in national parks. You can try a bunch of different things through the SCA programs because they're termed for like 3 months or 6 months or even a year. And so you're able to gain those technical skills, those soft skills in many different types of work sites or programs, really. And you can diversify your skill set that way and really figure out what you're really interested in. That's a really cool part about. That's what I loved about SCA. I was able to build my resume with 4 different programs within a year and a half span, and it looked great on my resume, and I felt like I was doing impactful work in my community. And you get to network too with so many different agencies and staff. It's awesome.
Yeah, so it truly is a stepping stone. And say for somebody that's studying environmental science, they don't
Hmm.
necessarily know which direction they're going to go in. This is a great program because they can dabble or put their foot in the
Yeah.
water, per se,
Hmm.
of a lot of different things and get the
Exactly.
experience to be like, oh, this is something I might want to do. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, cool.
Exactly.
And then I know that there's like you said, there's quite a few different programs and positions, and I think
Hmm.
that there's you mentioned the internship program, but there's also a crew member program. So can
Hmm.
you talk a little bit about the differences between the two?
Yeah. So internships are usually individual placements where this one person or maybe a very small team of interns are working really closely with our partner agency. Many times it's the National Park Service or one of the agencies in the Department of Interior working with our interns on specific projects that they already have established. And then the crew program, those are teams. And so usually these teams are made up of one crew leader or two crew leaders if it's a bigger crew, and then multiple crew members. So maybe 4 to 12 crew members. And this team will work collaboratively together to accomplish many different types of projects. Let's say they're working in Montrose Park in Washington, D.C., and they're on various trails doing historical preservation, but they're also doing invasive plant removal or they're doing trail maintenance. It's all collaboratively as a team. Whereas the internships, they're doing things as a team, but they're also really working closely with the agency partner. So whether it's internships or whether it's crews, it's an experience for crew members or interns to gain those skills doing accomplishing projects that are meaningful and really helpful to these agencies.
Yeah, I think that's great. Like I said, I've worked a lot with or hired some SCA folks in the past, and they were
Yeah.
some of the hardest working folks I've ever had the pleasure of working with. I know
We're
that
proud of that.
yeah, and I know from my end, doing a lot of hiring in the past, as a program manager, I've
Hmm.
had some great success stories, but do you have
Yeah.
any great success stories that you can share from individuals that have gone through each of those programs, whether it's the internship or the crew
Yeah.
member?
Oh man, we have so many. I'll draw from just a couple, but I'm really fortunate that I'm an example. All of our SCA staff are examples of being former SCA crew leaders or crew members. I also have members that I've personally seen, come in through an interview, have a degree, has been working at, a grocery store, but really was trying to find their foot in the door and found the SCA. And then they worked really hard with the National Park Service for a year, and then they gained their PLC hiring authority, which I'm sure you've probably talked about in your podcast before, Becky. They received their PLC hiring authority, and then they were able to actually gain full time employment with the National Park Service that way. So that's truly a blessing seeing that happen, and remembering that interview when they were talking about their interests of one day working with the Park Service and then watching them actually work with the Park Service. It gets me a little teary eyed. And in the past 2 years, I'd say that's already been 3 of my members turn into full-time agency staffers. So it's really cool to see that happen. But I've also seen
Yeah, that's
people
awesome.
like yeah, I've seen high schoolers too. That's the one thing I'm very proud of too. High schoolers that have been like had no idea about the environment, had no idea about this field at all. And now they're pursuing it in college and thinking about careers. And that's also super inspiring. So, a lot of success
Can you,
stories that way.
yeah, can you go back a little bit and talk
Yeah.
about the hiring authority that you mentioned? I
Yes.
might know
Yes.
about it, but maybe our audience does not.
Yes, okay. Public Land Corps Hiring Authority is something that was enacted by Congress. So it's not something that the SCA directly manages, but what it allows is for persons that are eligible, and you'd have to look up the specific language, persons that are eligible under the Public Land Corps Hiring Authority that have completed 640 hours of conservation related work, and there's a list of like what the type of eligible work hours would be. Once they achieve their 640 hours, they're able to apply for a hiring authority. And once their application is reviewed, it's essentially a whole application that includes the partner's information, what they did, a time log and task log of the different things that they accomplished in the 640 hours. Once that's approved, they receive this certificate and they're able to use that to upload into usajobs.gov. And when they create their profile on usajobs.gov and upload their hiring authority into their profile, they're able to look at different jobs that are looking for persons that have a hiring authority. And so hiring managers that are posting these jobs on usajobs.gov are able to see, oh, we have a person that has applied with a hiring authority, and it allows them to also be able to hire people that are qualified, that have background experience in this type of work, and also be able to hire a little bit quicker. So it's almost like a win-win for everyone involved, the person looking for the job, the hiring managers, and also the park or the projects that these people are working towards completing. So it's a really cool opportunity for SCA folks or really other people that are in other programs, AmeriCorps, other different types of programs that are doing conservation related field work on federal lands to gain a hiring authority to use when they're applying for different federal jobs.
Yeah, and so for our audience, these hiring authorities are amazing. For instance, I spent 8 years as a temporary seasonal before I was able to get my permanent job. So what these hiring authorities will do is give you opportunities to get your foot in the door as a permanent employee, where you get benefits, good medical, good retirement. And I also believe that these hiring authorities, like the Public Land Corps Authority, will let you apply to positions that you wouldn't be able to otherwise. For instance, it doesn't necessarily have to be a direct authority position, but you can also apply to what they call merit positions. So positions that are only open to folks that already have permanent employment within the federal government. And so you can bypass, because the other positions are demo, which means it's open to the entire public. But those positions are not quite as open as, say, merit positions. And merit positions can be really competitive, even if it's demo. So what these hiring authorities do essentially is give you a step up in the right direction without having to put in 8 to 10 field seasons like I did in temporary employment, where I would not be guaranteed to come back in the same position every year, and I didn't get benefits and all that stuff. So this is why these programs are so important as a stepping stone. Yeah. So can you tell me also something that might help our audience? What skills did you acquire that helped you progress in your career development from this program?
Oh, that's a great question. I would say a really good mixture of soft skills and technical skills. I'll start off with the technical skills. I had a lot of experience working independently in various environments, whether that was like in the field or in the lab. I was really lucky that when I was in school, if we're thinking about this in terms of like a college student, I was able to get a work study. So that was another way that I was able to be guaranteed an opportunity to work closely with scientists by helping them prepare media and all the different things for their labs. But then when I was looking for opportunities where I didn't necessarily have those technical skills, I often would just seek out volunteer opportunities. That was usually a really good way for me to gain those hands-on experiences I didn't know about SCA when I was earlier in my college career or even when I was a high schooler. And then soft skills, I would say that communication is a really big soft skill that I can't emphasize enough. Being able to talk articulately about the work that you do, about the why, about your interests, about yourself, about your background is really important. And being able to also communicate that in emails or in briefs or in documents or different things that you put together for future careers or future jobs.
Which is such an important skill to have. Very important skill to have. Yeah.
It is. You wouldn't think, but it is. To be able to convince people why you should fund a program because it's going to do great work in community gardens or something like that. But also being able to communicate with different stakeholders to get that buy-in is also really important. So I would say communication was top of mind for soft skills. And then for technical skills, really depending on what you want to do, I would research what those job opportunities or job positions look like and kind of start thinking about your skill set and where you can start growing your skill set in other areas to get to that end goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And so between communication and technical
Mm-hmm.
skills, I mean, these are really the foundations that anybody is going to need to progress
Mm-hmm.
their career because as you move up the ladder, the career ladder
Mm-hmm.
in any of these fields that we talk about, you're going to need to engage and know, have solid communication skills because you will be dealing with members of the community or stakeholders or other
Mm-hmm.
partnerships and agency
Mm-hmm.
folks. So I think that what you've told me about your experience, and I know that I've heard a lot of, other people's experience through the program, that this is a really great program to develop what you will need to be successful in any kind of natural resource land management profession, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
fire, wildlife, recreation, biological
Mm-hmm.
sciences, you name it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, so we've talked a lot about what some of the benefits are of this program. Can you think of any other additional benefits that folks might get from joining the SCA?
Oh, yes, for sure. Really depending on what the program that you join. Some programs have certifications that you can actually walk away with from completing the program. So, like, for example, our urban forestry crew right here in the DC area that we're piloting, they're able to get about $3,000 worth of certifications that are going to help them with if they're interested in potentially becoming a full-time arborist or testing for that. And so, like, depending
Wow.
on, yeah, I know it's really cool. Depending on the program that you join, even if it's a program like, for example, Aquatic, Kenilworth Park and Aquatic Gardens in Washington, D.C. It's a lovely national park, a hidden gem that has all of these marshes and ponds. And our crew is going to get really cool training to learn how to install core logs throughout the park and the marshes. And so that's some like really cool stuff that you can add onto your resume of being able to say, I worked alongside and was trained alongside MPS staff on how to install these erosion infrastructures to help protect these, sensitive cultural resources to these national
Hmm.
parks. So lots of trainings, lots of trainings.
So, say somebody wants to pursue wildland fire or
Mm-hmm.
even in recreation. a position that might require the use of a chainsaw, do they actually offer that kind of training to get a
Oh,
chainsaw
absolutely.
operator for the
Yes.
Forest? Because I know the Forest Service has,
Hmm.
specific guidelines. Like there is a certification you have to go through in order to operate a chainsaw. So if you were to go through this program in that kind of recreation fire area, they would
Hmm.
provide that kind of training.
Yeah. There's definitely crews that I have right now that are chainsaw certified from the National Park Service. And so I have 4 crews that are out there throughout the whole Canal National Historical Park doing towpath clearing, essentially. Whenever there's down trees that are obstructing the towpath, they're out there cutting them up, making sure they're out of the way. So they're also helping protect visitors' safety and also making sure that the recreational resources are available for everyone. So they can do chainsaw training, they can do invasive plant removal, weed warrior training, there's urban agriculture certifications, lots of different ways to gain that hands-on experience and certifications.
So, do you have any other advice for anybody that might want to pursue a position with the Student Conservation Association? Like, when do you hire? Like, when is the best time to apply?
Oh, that's a great question. We are hiring throughout the entire year. If you go on the SCA.org and there's a button at the top right that says join the crew, you can preview all the different open positions. So if you're looking for a position with the Student Conservation Association, you can apply to a number of different types of jobs. If you go to the SCA.org, and there's a button at the top right that says join the crew. You can just click that button and you can really preview the different types of programs that we have. Leadership programs, programs that deal with urban green, metro cities, wildfire programs, all the different types of internships. I would encourage anyone out there to just explore our website and see the different types of programs that we have available and check them out. We have open opportunities throughout the entire year, but we do have a big amount of programs that are happening in the summer months as well. So it's great for college students, it's great for high school students, people that are also looking for a career pivot, or people that are just looking to just learn more about what our SCA partners and what we do here too. And check it out, see what the different types of opportunities that are available. And our SCA recruiting team is really great. If they have any questions, there's an email for every single position description, and they can just click ask a question, and then the recruiters usually send all of those questions out to the hiring managers. So even if you just have a question on what this program has been about, I've gotten emails forwarded by our recruiting team from people that are just looking to learn more about it. Don't be afraid to ask questions when you show interest. It usually is a good thing because we see, as hiring managers, we see people that are committed to learning more and maybe committed to really doing more programs even after their first one. And we love that with the SCA. We love when we have people that join multiple programs. We love our alumni base, and we have a growing alumni base since 1957. It's really cool. We go out into national parks wearing our SCA blues, and then we'll come across Park Service or even just random people that are jogging. They're like, I was in SCA. I did that back when I was in college. It's so cool
I
because
love that.
they, yeah, they always have fond memories to share.
Yeah, it sounds like a great, program to be proud of participating in.
Mhm.
And yeah, everything that you shared with us today, like I said, I wanted you to come here because I know like this is a really amazing program that any of you that are interested in getting into a natural resource conservation career, just that stepping stone to get the experience you need, trainings you need to make you competitive in the job market for those better positions, paid positions. So, do you have anything else to add, Ray?
I would say anyone out there that is hesitant on if the conservation space is for them, I would say to just be curious and to really just explore opportunities. Something that I'm really happy to have experienced people coming into our programs that said that they didn't think they were strong enough to do this job or didn't think that trail work was for them because they had never met somebody that did that in their family. Don't be scared, get curious, get excited, and really know that this is a field that is very welcoming towards people that are brand new to it too. That's the goal.
Yeah, hands down. And, I've talked about this in my previous episodes, but I started my career in trails and I wasn't sold on it. Like, I was trying to find an internship and
Mm-hmm.
more in the recreation technician type of position, but all that was available
Mm-hmm.
was a trail crew position. I took it and it was one of the best experiences of my life. And I
Oh.
had the most amazing, it was tough. I'm not good, but it
Yes.
tested my limits for sure, but it made me realize how mentally strong, I am
Yes.
sometimes and my own
Yes.
capabilities that, oh, because I'm female doesn't mean I can't do these things. Like I was
Exactly.
up there chopping wood, logging out with chainsaws and
There
crosscut
you go.
saws,
Yeah.
all with the guys, and it was such a good experience for me. And even
Love
though it
that.
doesn't sound like it, just these experiences or programs, it's just a good way to get a little taste of what you might want to do
Mm-hmm.
and maybe help
Mm-hmm.
you out with an internship. Like I said, like
Mm-hmm.
I used that experience my first trail crew year. And I
Mm-hmm.
kept doing trail crew for a couple of years afterwards and then became a wilderness ranger later
Oh,
and
that's
then progressed
awesome.
through the Forest Service. But it
That's
was
amazing.
it was and I look back on my career and I'm like, yeah, I'm so glad that I did that because if I didn't, I don't know where I would be right now. And
Same.
sometimes,
Same.
yeah. Well,
Ah,
anyway, well, that's all the time we have today. But thank you, Ray, so
thank you,
much for this. This
Becky.
has been such a pleasure to interview you and to learn
Absolutely.
more and to teach our audience more about the SCA. And
Thank
thank
you.
you again.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
For more stories about outdoor careers, subscribe to the Life in the Wildlands podcast, where I will be interviewing outdoor professionals to discover exciting opportunities in outdoor careers, share professional experiences, discuss the hurdles to federal employment, and provide advice on how to overcome these challenges. And if you're interested in outdoor jobs and don't know where to start, or if you already are a federal employee with an outdoor career that's struggling to make it to the next level in your career development, Life in the Wildlands can help you on your journey. Check out our career counseling and federal resume development services at www.lifeinthewildlands.com or call 406-848-1660.